because you got 3. All right, dude. Look at those new ones. Look at the tip of that.
What?
Look at the tip of those scissors.
Ooh. They longer? They're longer.
No, they're shorter.
These ones are shorter.
Fucking Flex Seal and pill bottles everywhere. I want
What
to
did I
use
do in
this
my
bag. Stop up. There is a leak in my boat.
And this one?
Yep. Don't know where, but I assume on one of the 1,000 tanks on the bottom.
Dude, having the aluminum drip boat is a weapon, though.
It's an absolute weapon. I mean, it's really... And same with that. It's got a beast of a fucking coating on it. That... Because I hit this with no coating on it, and you can fucking tell.
Yeah, it grips on.
Yeah.
I mean... I have T-boned quite a fair amount of once in your boat. Maybe not T-boned, but like... Fucking...
No, but you found out pretty quickly that it doesn't matter.
Straight up chooched him. You know? Like, that one time we ran that chute on above Dogtown on the right.
Yeah.
Fucking just blatantly
Smash
ran over
into
the
him.
rock.
Yeah, I just, at this point, the only other person I've really had row my boat for any amount of time has been Nate, which is hysterical because, you know, he doesn't want to fuck anything up. And he also doesn't have enough experience behind the oars. So, like, he's already fucking nervous. And we're coming up on a rock, and I'll just kind of shift my weight a little bit, like, oh, we are going to blast into this thing.
Come on. Let me go on this side, right?
Yeah, this is... All right here. Good for me. You can see another little project here gone south. See this?
What was that? What was...
I'll show you. Here you go. That little marker. I was trying to finish some shit one day, and I just had Greta sit. I was just like, you can chill, color, play Nintendo, whatever. And so she asked if she could draw on the table with this paint marker, and I was like, sure. And then she did, and this is what it looks like. So there were these like random shapes, dude, and they really fucked with me. Holy shit, man.
Look at these Johns too. Look at this shrimp. Shrimp! Shrimp!
You want to throw that guy on?
I am going to refrain from saying anything derogatory.
Starting now?
No, probably not.
Well, we're ripping regardless.
Yeah.
I think I might just...
I don't say derogatory things anyway, for anybody out there wondering.
No. I tend to...
But...
Oh, dude, you even got the little weed guard up there, too. Jesus, man. Holy shit. Got the dumbbell eyes. Are you doing specifically slotted so that...
That's the first time I've tried those offset ones. I bought those down at John's shop. I don't...
Those, I mean, those are... They hang...
Lower. They get the weight further away.
Right.
Now, those are... I tie... The ones I want to fast sink are more like a square-shaped crab or like a... a four. I don't know. They're kind of like shaped like this, right? Like flat in the back, and they have a little. Where those are more like a blue crab. Those are big and wide, and there's a lot of foam there. I don't know. They don't lay so great in there though because of their, they're not a nice circle. So. And the shrimp I finally got to kill. I'd switched hooks, moved a bunch of material up the bend.
Yeah.
And now they kill.
Did that? Are you?
Talking about it. Yeah, you care if I use this chair right here?
No. I was gonna say I could go inside and get one.
No, this little guy I think will be perfect.
Dude, what the fuck was I planning to do? Oh, yeah, I remember now. This is the first time you've been in the workshop.
Yeah, what should we tie?
I don't know, man. I think I put this...
I didn't bring any materials either, so.
Well, I don't have anything here, so...
I'm just gonna invite myself to use your stash.
Dude, what the fuck are you... Fresh out of bucktail as well.
Sometimes I'll take this back, like to go home to Sarah's parents for the holidays or whatever. And I'm like, I might tie this and I might tie that. So dude, this thing's like blowing at the seams. Yeah. I'm taking like 2 bags, Walmart bags. And then I'll tie like 2 flies on there. I'm just like, God.
Yeah, the last time I went to Florida, I didn't bring anything. I didn't bring fucking anything. I didn't bring... Check that. I brought my 11 weight with a reel and a backup pair line. I left the 11 weight on the first flight.
No.
Yeah.
Gone.
Dude, I realized I was with Greta. I had dude. I had gotten so fucking burned. It was in the winter. It was last February, and I was musky fishing, but it was one of these like 72-degree days, and so for the first time in like 3.5 years, I fucking take my shirt off, cause it's been shitty. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling depressed. I haven't had many trips. I'm just like shit's not. Let's get that vitamin D, right?
Yeah. Bacon in.
Roasted.
Like 0 to 100.
Dude, like the worst.
The sun also just doesn't shine here in the winter.
Right.
So it's like anytime you get it. Like today I was driving here, I was like, this is nice.
Yeah. It's also nice that it's sunny and it's not fucking ripping wind.
Yeah, I'm like, this is
normally
nice.
That's not the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was so burned. This is like a week later where I got Greta's little backpack on with these little fucking straps. They're just like, the only part that was burned is the part that the backpack is touching. We would like sit down. We had a 3-hour layover, and I stood up and I could see skin flakes on the chair. It's so fucking gross. I was like, dude, I think on like the second time we did that, I was like, fuck it, I'll just be a fucking disgusting savage like the rest of this country.
Yeah.
Just leave it.
Yeah. It's not, just get blown away.
Yeah, shake off someone else's problem anyway.
Yeah.
So I noticed it like 2 hours in, and I went back to the gate, and they told me that it was not 2 hours later. It was probably like 30, 45 minutes later. We got all the way across to like the other side of fucking O'Hare with my 5-year-old, and
had to go back.
And I was like, oh shit. And dude, I was fucked. Like sunburned. I hadn't slept enough. I was like, fuck, we gotta go back. I'm like kind of sweaty. Get back there. Plane was still there. It was not on the plane. And I was like, let me just get on the fucking plane and look.
Yeah.
Because
they won't let you?
No. And if anyone would have found it, it would have been lost and found, which closed in like 4 minutes.
Of course.
Yeah. And so it just didn't hear anything. I like filed a report.
Someone kifed it, huh?
No, dude, fucking like 4 months later.
Wow.
Yeah, we found your package. Because after 30 days, it goes into this like repository of lost and found requests at fucking Chicago O'Hare, which is a
jumbo.
Like, that is a it's a
It sucks. I hate it.
It's a hub.
I just sleep
like
there
people
one night.
go there and then they go somewhere else.
Right.
Like it's not just they're not
for
just
American, I believe, right?
Yeah.
For American hub.
And I was like, dude, it's fucked.
It's gone.
Yes, like October or some shit.
That's wild.
Months later, it shows up.
Some worker just doing his job.
Someone just showing up.
Looking for the matching report. This is it. Cylinder. A long cylinder.
And it came from not Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck?
Wow, the system works. Justice.
You ever see that, I think it's, Die Hard.
With Bruce Willis?
Yeah, he's in the airport and he's like moving around through the fucking conveyor belts and shit.
Yeah.
It's probably in a dozen different movies. But
there's another
I can just
movie
imagine
with,
it was just...
Well, so at Charlotte, they were rebuilding one of those luggage bays and they had it all open. You could see it. And I was like, wow, this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
All these,
I mean, it's got to be...
Like vertically go up. It's like Polar Express when they have all the presents going through the conveyor belt up at the North Pole.
Those elves have to be good at logistics.
For sure. They got it dialed.
And like you said, man, you got to show up with a good fucking attitude as well.
Yeah, you got to do your job.
Dude, a little scrimp.
Yeah, that's the one. That one kills.
Jesus Christ, dude.
That's a lot of material on the bottom to kill there. But dude, when that thing gets wet, those legs that bleed through in that dubbing.
Yeah,
and
dude,
that
you sent me a picture.
Rug yarn starts to bleed through. Oh, it looks so good.
You showed me a picture of it wet, and it looks like a fucking shrimp.
Yep. See, all the shrimp patterns out there, none of them are anatomically correct because everybody has to put the material on top, or I guess technically on the bottom of the shank, so that when they put the dumbbell eyes on the top, it rides hook point up. So they're all
wonky.
Yeah, they're imitative. They're not actually.
Yeah, which I think, like with the drunken disorderly, when I'm fishing that some days, it's just like, dude, if they're not gonna eat this shit, I don't fucking care. I don't fuck that fish.
Yeah.
But you got a redfish or a permit, and I don't know. I think of them like trout. Same with the tarpon. When I'm out there watching them, fucking hundreds and hundreds of yards just in this tide line from a key, they're just it's like a tarpon or it's like a trout in a fucking phone line. They're just coming up and eating crabs. Where the crab can escape and where they have a good profile on it against the sky, low light, so they're safe, coming up and fucking
sipping dry flies.
Dry flies.
Yeah.
How many fucking crabs have they seen before they pick that one?
Yeah.
Same with this. It's just like...
Well, that's what I was reading, is that it's all that first big tidal swing down there is what blows all those crabs out of the bay. And that's when, if the weather and everything works out.
So do you know if the tarpon, if that migration, what is this, little life flex?
What is it?
Spanny flex?
Oh, that's dubbing mixed with rubber legs mixed in. Yeah, that's so I used to make brushes and would cut my own rubber legs in, but now.
What are those rubber legs though?
I don't know. That I would assume there's something similar to. Well, that dubbing is specifically from Fly Tyre's Dungeon, so they're probably his bug legs, which are pretty much.
Jesus, dude.
But I used to blend crystal hair, Congo hair, which is EP fiber, and a little bit of Flash and Slinky in a dubbing brush, and lay little micro silicone legs in there.
Yeah.
And that definitely had more transparency than that dubbing does. So I think I might start to stack a little bit of crystal hair in with that dubbing. But that dubbing already has the Congo hair and the rubber legs. So I think if I mix a little bit of crystal hair, it'll get that nice see-through look. And
dude, that's a fucking you got that scrimp.
That orange in there will then glow. Yep.
I mean, dude, it looked good in the picture. It looks fucking incredible in real life.
Yeah.
You making the eyes?
Yeah.
Seems like a stupid question, but lighter Sharpie.
So that is actually black
UV.
UV, yeah. But I've been dipping them in nail polish, which really afterwards, which really seems to help the durability.
Yeah.
I've been using Loon resin too, except the resin I like the most is Solara's Flex resin. But the Loon resin to me is not as durable. It does not appear to be as durable. It's fine, but I don't know. The Flex stuff from Solara's I do enjoy.
So is this the faster sinking one?
So that one actually is gonna be a slow sink. It kills good. It flips over because of all that foam on the top, but it sinks so slow. And I think part of the reason those are big crap. You know what I mean? Compared to like what a lot of people are throwing at permit now. That's just a big fly.
Okay, yeah.
It's not a big crab. It's a little itty bitty crab.
It's a little itty bitty crab. I think one of the reasons that, correct me if I'm wrong, there isn't a crab imitation that looks at all like a tarpon when you eat it that is that size.
Right.
So you have to go small.
Right.
Because otherwise it's going to look fucking stupid.
Well, too, and it's like, so I made, that's a number 1 TP.
What do you
610.
keep talking? What do you want to tie?
I don't care. Let's tie something fun. I don't care. We can tie whatever. That's the number 1. I've tied them on a 1-aught, and that's a big crab. And I've actually fished those in the Keys a little bit. And like, if you were fishing in choppy conditions, it'd be fine. But when you get that big, the amount of weight you have to put on them to sink, it's just casting is like, you know,
ducking like a ball and chain.
Not efficient. But that one, I haven't casted those 2 specifically, but I think that's like, you could probably still cast that fly with, you know, a slightly, you know, not a real delicate bonefish line, but with like a tarpon taper line, you could definitely cast that fly pretty good. And that shrimp fly will cast like a bullet.
Dude,
see, the issue with
that's with the shrimp fly. Sorry to steamroll you here, but with that shrimp fly, but I'm going to anyways. But with that shrimp fly, with that fucking, with all this shit, it like on your back cast, you're gonna get, as soon as you take it out of the water, you're gonna get some shed.
Yeah.
And then it'll have that air resistance, so that you can actually fucking cast it.
Yeah.
Unlike a clouser or whatever the fuck else that just...
Yeah, it's shock. Boom, boom,
you
boom.
gotta fucking...
Right. Well, see, and that's the problem when you throw medium dumbbells on a lot of those shrimp, they cast so, like, you feel them whack. You know, when they load at the back, they hit and they reverb, and they're just not... Anything that you make that heavy is not gonna... Yeah, right there you go. Yep. See...
I've never fucked around with this.
What is this? Oh, this is chenille.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think,
wow.
yeah.
See, I wonder if I could take something like this and throw it in like a complex twist. With,
I mean,
like,
dude, if you just did like one wrap.
Yep.
I'm not saying that's the answer, but I am saying that this material is fucking...
Wow, I wonder
dang,
if I...
dude. I haven't used it yet.
I honestly think... See, the other thing that's going on there, too, is that all these shrimp that these guys fish for permit and everything, they're spawning shrimp. So they have some Poca orange to emulate an egg sac on a shrimp. Again, not anatomically correct. They all time in on top of the head or on... And the issue with that is...
it's just a hot spot.
A shrimp's egg sac, he carries under his belly, right? It kind of where his legs start to get smaller.
How much time have you spent looking at pictures of shrimp?
A lot, and trying to look at different shrimp too. Like mantis shrimp don't look like anything like the flies people tie that they call mantis shrimp. Mantis shrimp is a very complex looking creature, but this is more like, you know, the type of prawn you'd go to the bait store and buy. But they carry their egg sacs, and it's almost like, I'm trying to think like what, it looks like caviar almost.
Interesting, like little...
Like little blocks of it attached within their legs, and it's not like one spot. It kind of turns that whole area like a translucent orange color. So I think that the way I have that stacked in there does a good job of, like here, this one I actually stacked some Aunt Lydia's yarn in there. I thought I brought another one.
Aunt Lydia's yarn?
Oh dude, it
sounds like a euphemism for a vagina.
Yeah, see, here, this one you can see. This one you can see how I stacked it in there more. Jesus, dude.
Seen one of those jobbers?
That's like 6 times bigger than a tarpon hook.
Dude. Yeah.
Gosh.
That's just through. I was talking about. Sorry, we'll get back to what you were saying here. These are the tin plated ones I was talking about.
Yeah, those are nice. Dude, what is it? Is this for bluefin tuna?
Yeah, it's a tuna hook. That's called the Sea Beast.
It's for like, or a sailfish maybe. I don't know. That might even be.
Yeah, it's the Sea Beast, and I'd heard of that a number of years
peak
ago.
rotary vise.
Are you gonna fuck around with that?
No, it doesn't even go in there.
Yeah.
Will the master grab it?
I'm pretty sure it does. I've had to.
There you go.
Does that mean I'm tying one of these? Yeah, it's
It fits in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, see? There you go. That's why. It's a good vise.
I'm pretty sure I've destroyed these jaws.
But you can replace them. And what, see, a guy I follow who ties a lot of saltwater flies.
Here's the problem with this.
Yeah.
Is that it moves and
not enough purchase in
it's
there.
like the only shit. I'm fucking jamming this down here. I'm not tying lightly on this.
Right.
And there's a giant fucking hook. Dude. So the whole time I'm doing this, it's like anytime that shit slips out, if I'm ripping down on GSP, dunk, God.
At least you got to bury it like a ½ inch to get to the barb.
Dude, I get the same type of chills from the thought or, ew, dude, when you just catch yourself, when you're pushing back.
And it's always so unexpected.
Oh.
Sudden that it like.
It makes me sick.
Let's pick a category of fly to tie. And then let's just spin something and see what we both come up with. But so this is not the category we have to choose, but you could say smallmouth. I don't know if that's how we should structure it. You could do like action, you could do depth.
Huh.
I don't know. No. I don't know. What we could do like smallmouth swim fly, smallmouth jig fly.
How about
or you could do
I mean, I'm going to Florida this week.
Okay.
Should I just tie a fly? I mean, it's really fucking hard to.
Are you gonna fish while you're there?
Yeah.
Okay. What are you gonna fish for? You could tie it. You're going to Tampa. You're by Tampa, right?
Man, it's it's what we were talking about the other day, where it's like, what am I going to tie? I'm going to tie a little craft first shrimp thing, one with not much weight and one with a bunch of weight, and then probably glass minnow, something real small.
Okay.
And then something like a really sparsely, relatively small bucktail fly. But like,
ooh, I'm gonna tie you like a little redfish, anything like a little toad.
Yeah.
Like a little.
What do you need?
I'm gonna do
the toad with the shit coming off the side.
Yeah, but I'm gonna do a different head. I'm gonna do like a dubbing loop head with like some densely packed like EP type material with like little bead chain eyes and a couple collars and like a marabou tail probably. Like a nice fluffy marabou tail. Do you have any like...
Obviously the labels are wrong.
What about, do you have like a small...
bead chain?
Yeah, or whatever weight is probably fine, but something like, ooh, or I could do like a Magnum rabbit strip tail, like a barred Magnum rabbit strip tail.
I kind of like that. I'm likely not going to flats.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to. Probably need something with more depth, huh? Like where do you have in your head that you're gonna fish? Like what is it like a jetty, like a off the beach?
The places that I'm gonna fish on my own are going to
Or
be
like a canal? That'd be kind of tight.
like canals. Fucking dogs. Dude, there's another section of
Blow
fence.
through the side of the wall.
There's another section of fence that they fucking blew through one night. That's when they got out and Esme got skunked.
Yeah.
Dude, she's just now smelling
Normal.
like normal. So I'll probably fish, little canals, dock lights, some shit like that.
Yeah, I think that I want like just a little all-around versatile salt streamer that like there's a snook there.
Yeah.
On a dock light, he would smoke it.
You want? There's some dumbbells.
Okay, perfect. Let me see what. I want like a little short shank hook, something kind of stout.
You want the salt?
Yeah, it could be anything. Anything like it could be like a SA.
You got some TP size.
Could be like something you throw up, like a short shank at the front of a changer or something.
Oh, like a super short shank, like a Gamorous style.
Like what are those? Those are too big, but what are those? What is that? A 2? Oh no, those are like something like this, but a size or too small. We're right here.
I'm not sure if I have that. What about?
What like?
So not like the NS.
What size of the NS do you have? Oh, that'll work right there. That number 1 will be good. Thanks, sir.
Not much hook shank on that.
Yep, that'll be good to kidney.
Have you done much canal fishing?
No, I haven't. I have for itty bitty tarpon a little bit. What's that on this hook?
Yeah.
Like little juvies.
Any lights?
No.
Oh, dude. It is. You talk about shooting fish in a barrel. This is a number of years ago, in Anna Maria in a marina, and I'm walking. It's not like the docks that just go straight out. They're like out, and then they're connected sort of throughout.
Okay.
And some of these fucking boats are like small yachts, and they have like a crazy light system coming off the back of them. And dude, there were these snook fucking laid up under those things, and like bloop, drop a little Clouser minnow in front of one's face, dap dap.
Dude.
I mean, the first one I got. I'm sitting there. I mean, I should have just had a net with some fucking 80-pound, fucking. So the first one, I let it get some water, and I couldn't have been broken off faster. It's going through fucking dock pilings, and the shit, she gone. And the next one, I fucking hooked up with it, and as soon as it ate, I just dropped the line from my finger, put my rod in the air, fucking grabbed the line with my left hand, just lifted that bitch onto the dock.
Dude,
Giant snook.
When I was down there,
Where, Tampa?
yeah, we didn't. It was like October. We didn't see any poons.
Was this when you went? I can't believe that
I actually got
you
sick
went for your bachelor party. Is that right?
No, my brother and I went. My brother took me down to Key West for a little bachelor type deal before my wedding. That was cool. This was that following fall, and dude, we saw some snook that looked like small tarpon, like 40-pound tarpon. Obviously, that's exaggeratory, but
I mean, how many?
Fucking huge.
Dude,
They were definitely well over, 30 inches or so.
I've seen some.
We put in at the Palmetto ramp there.
Where's that?
It's like right, you cross that bridge to go into Bradenton.
Huh. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that boat ramp that's right on the right as you go over that bridge. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. What about got any like creamy marabou? White, creamy, tan?
Do I have creamy marabou?
Yeah. Fuck y'all.
Let's see. Oh yes. Perfect.
Oh. Oh shit.
I think I told you this, the cold snap, the snook cold snap in Mosquito Lagoon. Maybe I didn't. Rolled up there and dude, the boat ramp. This is a good like I was doing a trip. I was doing a guided trip, and this, if you're the client of a guide, this is probably not what you want to fucking walk into. The boat ramp was like, it's off of a little channel that goes out, like a little canal that goes out, and then there's the little boat ramp sort of carved in there. And that little boat ramp was stuffed with like dozens of like low 40-inch snook. And probably in total, yeah, probably in total, hundreds of snook. That just got zapped.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
From the weather?
From the cold snap.
Yeah.
And so this dude, Dusty, I was kind of like, well, what the fuck does this mean, selfish fuck. Like, well, what does this mean for today? And he's looking at like, those are his
fish.
Well, that's like us walking down
right to the tog, and there's being
and seeing like 20, 30-inch trout. He's like, yeah, like those are not only our targets, but they're the ones fucking. That's my career in 5 or 6 years. Fucking belly up, dude. And I think he had one or two thoughts on, that they couldn't get out to go anywhere else because of one thing or another. But it's like, man, you have a place like Mosquito Lagoon that, I didn't know this, but it's not tidal.
Right, it's wind driven. Right?
Yeah, it's so fucking wild, dude. Like it's that insulated. So it's like, yeah, there's a lot of, same with the tailwater. It's like there's a lot of pros there, but you're gonna work with the same cons.
Yeah, that's what I feel like does make these rivers kind of difficult to streamer fish at times. It's like they don't really have any rules to follow, dude. Like if you're in Colorado, you go fish a freestone, for example, like the Eagle River. If you go in October, when they know it's starting to get cold, dude, they just munch.
Yeah, that's what you were saying.
They have to.
Yeah.
They literally have to. It's about to be so low and so cold that, okay.
Well, you've been here long enough now.
It's time to eat.
To know that when I'm saying that there is no pre-spawn bite, I'm not full of shit.
Right. No, I haven't seen. I mean, I agree. Where it's just like I don't, you know, maybe a day or something that's just good fishing in general. Cool.
Right. So, like the odds of that occurring in July,
Or just yeah.
I would say are higher because you actually have. By the time you fucking September rolls around, you have look under any rock. It's just like none of those bugs are still there. Everyone's already hatched and gone for the year. And you also have like starting October. October is the driest, I think the driest month. And so dry corresponds to no rain, corresponds to no fucking cloud cover. And so it's like, dude, I had 14 trips this October. And that's the busiest month of my career thus far. And, you know, it's been steadily climbing that way. But fucking kill me, dude.
Yeah.
Between Helene and the Tog being the way it was. We did get, you know, a massive saving grace for all of that was that the South Holston was pushing 3,000. And it caused some fucking big units to want to come up and party.
Yeah, I don't
guess
know. I
that's
just
when-
think they're not like driven totally by the same, because they don't have to be. Like the water is gonna be
Right, they don't have that suicide.
right.
I remember I got completely engulfed in tying like, you know, the best tarpon toad type thing for fishing tailing reds. And I don't know. I started kind of going down the same route that you're way farther down now with all the shrimp and crab stuff, where it's like it's such a specific thing that you're trying to do. You know? Like you get that, you basically have a shot in mind.
Right.
As opposed to like
Well,
the 6 dungeons and 6 peanuts that I have up here. It's like I know those are going into trees and we're gonna fish them a lot and all these different setups. And sure, I like different banks for doing all that, but you're tying flies for like
one cast.
Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, and it's like, you know, with the crabs, I feel like I have, like, part of what started me working on that one specifically was when we were in an undisclosed location in the Caribbean for our honeymoon. You could just look at my fucking wife's Instagram and figure it out. Dude, there were permit everywhere. And they're literally tailing in like a foot of water in the surf, and every crab fly got hung up in the coral every single time, regardless of how heavy they were, because they weren't keeling fast enough.
Oh, got it.
And they go down and
I
hook.
remember that conversation happening.
So now this fly, when it hits,
it sinks the right way.
I was tying it with a different foam. The foam that I now have is, you know, kind of coincidental that I came across it. It's way better, but it's not. I originally tied it with just normal foam, not shapeable like this stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wouldn't call it coincidental. You're a fucking psychopath.
Right. Well, I was looking for a better.
You found it.
And yeah.
And you found the one that works.
But the idea was, okay, I need a fly that, one, these dudes are, you know, all these permit are looking at these flies and going, yeah, right, dude. Like, I got eyeballs the size of quarters. Like, that's not going to work, you know. And literally had multiple shots that I was like, yeah, man, like, I don't. And at the time, I didn't know a lot about permit fishing. I still know nothing about it, relatively. And they were just like, no. Like, that's
looking at it, no thank you.
Yeah, like, clear, like, definitely in their field of view, and not eating it. So okay, so it's not, something's wrong with this fly.
And not spooked from the cast.
No,
Like they're clearly
multiple presentations, not
Yeah.
eating it. I got one follow. So like so I started. Okay, I want something that looks like this in my head, has these characteristics in the water in terms of how it floats, how it sinks, and I made some cool ones that I gave the buddies and whatnot originally with like rabbit claws that would float and do all these, and it kind of evolved into those ones that I just showed you. But luckily that material I found, because I originally went down the rabbit hole of clay, and I said, okay, clay I assume sinks at some rate.
because you can mold it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly, because I could make it into the shape I wanted. Because
Yeah.
that's the issue, and like even the pre-made components are cool for the claws, but nobody has made a pre-made component for the carapace.
Carapace?
Carapace? How do you say it?
I'm cheating a little bit.
Carapace?
Carapace, yeah. There's I'm listening to a book on tape. It's about as nerdy and weird as it gets. It's sort of even embarrassing to talk about, but it's entertaining, and it's like whatever, we can fucking get into it. But like we were talking about with the consuming and producing thing, like how many podcasts can I listen to
Right.
while I'm chopping up deer? So yeah, you got the foam with so you can make the you were going down with the clay so you can make the carapace.
Right, and it ended up being foam that is very buoyant. And can I steal one of these little green
What
guys?
you looking for? Oh yeah, go for it.
Are these already pre-selected?
Yeah, but dude,
Yeah,
dude, go for it.
I'll get something. Oh, how
for
about
real.
this guy?
It's in a fucking pile. Yeah, go for it. I just put like that same pile of white and tan away, and it was like, I'm gonna fucking finish the front half of those 4 peanuts and maybe do some dungeons, and then if you can't see from the white, I wanted to finish off the white ones, and then I was like, oh, I'll do a sex man. Then I got mallard out, and I still haven't touched any of the olive stuff, which I have a fuck pile of.
Yeah, this is nice. Juicy, buggy marabou right here. Yeah, so the fact that it floats now, and the way I have that kill chain built in, you can totally, you have multiple things to play with in terms of how fast you want it to sink. You can go less foam, more weight, and it'll sink really fast. You can go more foam, less weight. You can get a bigger crab profile that sinks slow, which I don't know. A lot of the guys, in research read and talk about how they want these flies to sink really fast.
Right.
To get to the bottom, which I understand. The fishing I've done, which obviously is not what it's going to be all the time and the end all be all, but a lot of the permit were swimming near the surface, like more or less floating around.
Sure.
And I'm like, I don't want it to sink. They're not there. I want it to almost hover in front of them like a suspending jerkbait,
Yeah.
and have like a long interaction.
Or at least have the option to do it.
Right. But yeah, so the way this is, and too, like, you can make any shape you want, It's not like you gotta.
Have you looked at doing a different shape for the bottom? So one that's more rounded might sink like a different way, like more consistent, versus one that is flatter would give more of like a wobble on the way down?
So I've made one that's more like, it's trying to imitate a green reef crab, which is more like rounder, like ball shaped, I guess.
Yeah.
Versus, but I hadn't thought about how that would change versus like a glide of that shape.
Yeah, because you have, that it's fighting buoyancy, and it's also fighting water resistance.
Right.
Air resistance, water resistance, whatever.
So I've made one.
This is the talking with John about like stocking up the fly shop, and he's got a lot of shit there.
Yeah.
In a small space.
It sure does. He's got it filled up too.
Yeah, and he was saying that, and you know, both we're talking about like the small business thing, or as Greta had a taste, she wanted to do a yard sale, which, you know, you put signs on the corners and shit for a yard sale, right?
Right.
And you do it a week before, and you put a bunch of stuff out, and so she just wanted to do it right then. And
launch.
all of the toys were $10, which I felt like was an okay price. You know, it wasn't. It's not like she's completely delusional. But then she was like, "I feel stupid just saying yard sale when no one's coming." And I got down on one knee and I said, "Why do you feel stupid, Greta?" She said, "No one's coming." And I said, "Well, were you expecting them to come?" She said, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, and they're not coming, and that's why you feel stupid." She said, "Yeah." And it's kind of embarrassing. And I said, clearly she had just learned what embarrassing was, and so she wanted to like utilize
it
that.
a bunch.
And I said, I know how you feel." She goes, "How do you know how I feel? This is my yard sale," or something like that. And I was like, "I do this for a living." She goes, "What?" And I was like, "You know all the fishing and tying?" She goes, "Yeah." I was like, "That's my job." She goes, "I know that." And I was like, "You know when I have clients and trips that I'm really excited about?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "That's because I just stood in the front yard and yelled yard sale." With no one coming, and slowly figured out ways to, you know, make sure that the signs were on the corner or whatever in that metaphor. But yeah, it was interesting to see that metaphor like actually take place. I feel stupid. It's kind of embarrassing. I'm like, fucking. Yeah. I hear you. So I was talking with John about that, and it's like the reason I thought of it is I bring up the rounded crab bottom, and it's like, I guess I haven't thought of that. Like the fucking 100 other things that you think of, and I'll sit here for 15 seconds and be like, "Well, did you think of this?" It's like,
right.
Shit. So someone calls John, they're like, "Do you have this whatever specific TMC, like, you know, 3241 or whatever, in this specific size?" And I think it was a, you know, size 10 or 12, and he had it from sizes 14 to 20, but not in the 12. He's like, "No, I don't have it."
Well, him and I had that conversation.
Damn it, man.
Oh, I go down there maybe like, I try to go down, like if I need something, I try to go get it from there.
Yeah.
Like during the week. But we've had the conversation a couple times about like, how do you have everything for everybody?
Yeah.
You know, because it's like, you know, that guy who called in that example, do you lose that customer? Well, maybe. There's a good chance he goes and looks for somewhere where he can get everything he needs in the same order. But the only place you can really do that, I can't do that. I can't, even with the online shops, oftentimes you have to piece it together. But I also think we're way more in the weeds than most people in what we're looking for, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, that's just a hard thing to do. It's like, okay, well, how that guy who walks in, how do you have what he needs? You know what I mean? Because it's like,
right, because he's got stuff for
bar your twister, your spinner.
Yeah, he's got stuff for
Thanks,
like
dude.
it's so stocked up for like tailwater guiding, tying.
Right.
And then he's also got, and that's, you need however many fucking iterations of sizes 16 to 22, and I mean his worm material collection. You can't, in my opinion, just to shout out John on this one, how many other stores can you go to and find the materials specific to like the river that he's on? And you can also get shit to tie musky and saltwater flies.
Right. he by far has the best tying selection in this area.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's there's no question about it. And yeah, so you get that one little sitting, you know, when I'll go by and talk to him, and it's just like that day, his days in the fly shop are, I feel like are, you know, I experience higher highs and maybe longer or lower lows, but he'll have a couple in the morning and then just like sit there for hours questioning his life. And then, you know, all of a sudden, like 4 p.m. rolls around and it's fucking, place is packed to the gills. And that'll be me for weeks. Of like, what the fuck? I mean, dude, you and I have talked about this, the creepiness of how the universe works. It's like, what has been in the air where all of a sudden, for like 2 weeks in a row, like, is it, oopsies.
That 140.
That's right. Is it because tax returns came back? Like, why I'm getting flooded with phone calls. And I'm like, I'm moving people, I'm trying to massage a calendar. And then there's like 2 to 3 week periods of time where it's just like, I'm fucking fighting to feel productive by tying flies for trips that I don't have, even though that I quote unquote know they're going to come.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know, man, at least what we've seen in our, like, with my brother and I's actually, like, day-to-day job.
Yeah.
Is, dude, the end of 2023 and 2024 were fucking brutal.
Okay. Yeah, we had talked about
totally
this
different things, but like,
I mean, dude, there's a high correlation to that, because I thought that.
Well, so I'm doing some marketing for that fly shop down in the Keys too, and dude, I mean, same thing with them. Like, they're, you know, not normalcy in terms of everything. Guide trips booked, volume in the store, online, all the things. Do you have any GSP over there?
Yeah.
So I don't do that again. Thanks, dog.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm wondering now too. Like, are things going to pick up because people are hopeful for a more
vibrant economy?
Yeah. Prosperous economic outlook. You know, regardless of political affiliation, is that what's, you know, going to happen? Is people are like, oh, okay, you know, let's spend some more money. I don't know.
Well, I thought that I had this weird arc of not really guiding. Like, I just moved here in COVID. And then, so the next 2 years, there was still this, you know, everyone, there's a continuation of this increase in, for example, deer tags and fishing licenses purchased. And fucking the tennis pros are hiring multiple assistants. Like, everything outdoors just continues to increase. I mean, places around here, don't need to mention names, hired, you know,
Right.
full-time guides and open lodges. And 2023 ended 2023. So beginning of this year, last summer, it just screeched to a halt. So I don't think that, I mean, because we're expendable income, or we're disposable income.
Well, see, we talk about that a lot with our businesses. Like, we offer services. We're nice to have. We're not a necessity to operate a business. So anything like that, when economic times are challenging, gets cut.
Right.
Oh, I don't need to. I'll wait. You know, we'll go on our trip next year.
Yeah.
You know, we'll buy that piece of gear next year.
Or even for the businesses that you're helping, it's like.
Right. They feel it too.
Yeah.
For sure, dude.
Yeah, so I mean, that conversation with John is just, Jesus, these long days. Man, I can completely empathize with anyone watching, listening, anyone who I've spoken to in my life, where when I talk about things being tough, and then you look at my life, and it's like, oh, you went fishing today.
Right.
That must be really hard for you. Like, you fucking jerk off. It's like, dude, you want to go learn a musky river by yourself with, you know, your girlfriend barking down your neck about some shit that she's pissed off about, while you got bills to pay. And like, sure, you can do I want to be a commercial tire? No, I want to guide. And beyond commercial tying, like I would like to design new flies. So how does that happen? I mean, this goes to our conversation last week, where it's like, people can talk about, you know, they can regurgitate their understanding, but to figure out that, you know, a bite trigger or whatever, like, you know, that goes into a fly design that has it doing one thing or another, there isn't. I've done it both ways, because I would do it with so much intentional thought prior to living here, prior to taking my life as a guide. And what that means to me is fishing when I'm not guiding, fishing on my own, as much as possible. Like, there's no other way to figure that out.
Right.
And holy shit, there's my saltwater buddy, Dave White, down in Anna Maria. Book him for your tarpon trips or whenever. Dude's a beast. He was talking about a buddy that's getting divorced, and I was a photographer for the day. And so there are clients on there, and one of the clients is like, oh, well, you know, at least he's doing what he loves. At least he's out here doing what he loves. And Dave's just kind of laughing. He goes, man, there are some long days up on the crow's nest. And it's like, dude, some of those days tarpon fishing where I got the chance to see both sides of it, where it's like it's on, and other days where it is not on. So dude's just up in the crow's nest, just driving around looking for fish. What you need?
Nothing right now. I'm good. I'm just gonna pick some of this out.
Just driving around. Got a bunch of fucking angsty 60 plus, you know, 68-year-old dudes in the boat wanting to catch fish. And he's just driving around looking for fish. And like, what the fuck do you think he's thinking of? Like his wife that's cheating on him and wants a divorce that he's gonna have to deal with when he gets home? Probably. He's probably thinking of that. So it's like, yeah, it's...
There's definitely like... There's a correlation between all these guys who are really like into these type of things, and then how other spouses, partners perceive those things.
Yeah, well, you got to have buy-in.
Right. Got like a little dubbing pick or anything? Like,
yeah, because, I mean, I deal with it where it's like, if I don't, and we've talked about it with doing this, for example, if I'm not proactively treating this as though it's the same thing as me going into the office, then it just becomes a fun thing.
Right.
You're just out in the
fucking
workshop
around.
tying,
Right.
yeah. like said another way, oh, you're just out in the workshop doing the same thing that you've been doing since before I met you in hopes of establishing a career doing something that you love while also earning income for your family. Dude, if I wasn't... not to complain about this, because we do have a newborn, but brother, if I weren't paying rent and electricity and water, that'd be a different story. Like if it wasn't working after a handful of years, then you start looking at someone like, look, man, I know you're trying really hard to be a painter or a fucking concert pianist, but it ain't working.
Right.
So you either need to do something different. My thing is that like, yo, this is working.
Right.
So,
dude, it's just like the saying, it's like we all overestimate what we can do in like a year and underestimate what we can do in 10.
Ah.
I'm like, that's
I didn't know the
so
saying, but
fucking factual and everything. It's like, we all...
Shit, I overestimate what I can do in a day on a very, very regular basis.
Right.
I've had to work on that not being something that corresponds to me thinking that I'm a piece of shit. Because it's like, well, you set yourself up for failure because your ambitions were completely out of touch with reality. Like, there's no way you can do all of the shit that you want to in one day. Damn, bro, especially, hey, yesterday was winter solstice. Days are getting longer.
Fuck yeah, I need that.
Every single day. Need it so fucking bad, man.
There we go. I hated it at first. Dude. I still kind of don't love it, but...
Dude, we'll catch something on this.
There we go. Now she looks better. Now
she's this is the type of individual and guide that Captain Dave is. I had tied him some little craft fur shrimp flies, and my mom had actually booked a trip with him. The way I met him is actually really cool. May as well share that, but I was just on a canal. Can I get that GSP back?
Yes, sir. Here you go.
Thank you, sir. I was just fishing on a canal with, I had a bag of dead bait, spin rod, 2 fly rods, fly box, net slung over my back. He pulls over and just said, he asked if I was going to be there for a little while and can I watch his stuff. And left like, 3 or 4 fly rods and a bunch of shit that was in the back of his truck that he couldn't fit in the cab because he had to run across the island and there was a storm coming in. He had to move some shit. This dude wasn't picking up the phone. I was like, yeah, dude, don't worry. I'll fucking sell all your shit and you'll never hear from me again. He kind of laughed and, came back in 45 minutes and ended up talking for a while. And we stayed in contact, and I was going to be down there the next year, and I've gone fishing with my mom a few times, and I think I had dragged her out night fishing at a dock one of those times, and so this was the next year, she sent me a picture of a bluefish. She's holding a bluefish that she caught on fly. I was like, what the fuck? And I could see the leader, and it wasn't wire, and I was like, what the fuck is going on here? She said she was with a guide, and I was like, what the fuck? And then that I might like this guide. That seems like we have a lot in common. He also has a daughter, and it sounds like he ties. And he's been sober for a number of years. And I was like, is his name Dave? She was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, that's the same fucking guy I've been talking about that I want to fish with you in a fucking week that I already had a trip booked with him.
How did she get linked up with him?
Dude, she just found him.
No shit.
Yeah.
Said, fuck it, I'm going fishing.
Yes.
Good for her.
Yeah. Fucking wild. Ends up being my mom. So, yeah, they're fishing. This was the next year, and he sees a little school of permit, like in like deeper water, feeding against structure. And she was fishing a fly that, would have caught fish. And he had one of the flies that I had tied for him on a little foam patch on his center console in the boat, and fucking grabs her line and puts the fly that I tied on her line just because he thought it'd be cool, and she fucking snipes a permit on it.
No way. Your mom's caught a permit on fly?
Yeah.
Savage.
I know.
I've seen fucking pictures of permit on fly in Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Well,
apparently they show up at certain times of the year. That's fucking sick.
He was saying that
good for her, dude.
Yeah.
It's fucking baller.
Yeah. It's like, it's not flats fishing.
Right.
But yeah, just
still.
What a fucking G to be like, you know what? This will be cool to use the fly that your son tied for me to catch a fucking permit on a fly.
Yeah, that's sick. That's fucking super sick.
Yeah, that place is. I think that was off of one of the keys that you and I had discussed.
Yeah.
That either you fished or.
Yeah, see, that's where I think a lot of those guys post up when those fish are like running out of there, you know?
Oh yeah, in that lane right off there. I mean, that's where the tide was dumping.
Yeah, see, dude, we got to go down there and try to catch a big tarpon, like a 100-pound plus fish on fly.
Dude.
Because I've caught a pile of fucking little ones, but I want to catch a big one.
He was
take the 11 weights down and
on that first day. It was just bonkers.
Were you in water that you can pull? Like, could you pull around, or was it too deep? Because from what I understand,
off that key,
yeah, there's like sandy areas where it's like you can see the bottom. You know?
It was this one was a sandy, like drop sort of gradient where this is the key, and all that water's rushing out this way.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sort of the boat was like this. We're pointing out this way, and.
So you're on the back side of the key.
We're on the back side of the key, just on the inside edge of that tide seam. And he was having me just keep us in that zone. And so we're almost in like an eddy or like current break where I'm kind of going back and forward and just keeping us angled right and not going out too far while he's putting crabs out there. But as we're doing that, I'm also like, I'm looking at the depth finder and checking my 6, because all of a sudden, dude, you're like up on the beach pretty quickly. So I think that zone, like maybe you're pulling, but
so when I was there last, we pulled the whole backside of that key, like right up on the beach.
Yeah, we did that in the winter.
We didn't see much. We saw like one or two like redfish. I mean, I don't think the weather wasn't great, and I don't think, it just wasn't ideal for a lot of reasons, but it was pretty water nonetheless,
Yeah, last year we did, it was a bad day of fishing, which translated to a cooler full of fish in a half day that we fed. My aunt was there with all the cousins and like significant others. Like we fed 14 people. Like that's a bad day.
Yeah, right.
And Dave also, we just took my daughter out for an hour. So one of the 4 hours was literally fucking around. Right. In the meantime, we got 3 or 4 keeper sheepies off of a dock.
Oh, that's sweet.
Dude, fucking fishing live shrimp under a dock for sheep's head is so much goddamn fun. You fucking rig those things up, cast it under there, let it drift. And that's all she wrote. You're getting an eat every single time.
They're delicious, aren't they?
They are good.
They're supposedly absolutely delicious.
Yeah, they are good.
People say those are tough fish to catch on fly, too.
They are.
The Cajun permit, right?
They're little fucking, they call them the convicts. I always thought that's because they have stripes.
With that little marabou box here, I'll put this away for you. Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm. But it's because they have these, let me see that little juice canoe.
Little barge on. Move a little water, not too much.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Right under the surface. Won't sink hardly at all for you.
Dude,
could be good, could be bad.
Send
Could be
the
not
picture.
so good.
Dude, I have a spot in mind for this.
Dude, I tied all these little, similar to that, but the head was more defined and didn't blend in, but bigger dubbing loop, like
Sure.
more pushy.
Yeah.
And I've just absolutely I mean, it's a toad. It's just a toad.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing unique about
God
it.
damn,
but
dude.
I've just slacked juvie tarpon all over the place. Even on the keys on foot, walking around, which is cool.
Just whenever you can see them.
Yeah, just, oh, there's a couple rolling. Boom.
Did you ever do any like mangrove shit?
Yeah, off a boat, yeah, not on foot. Down
Dude,
in
I
Key
can,
West,
I can see why.
But now we got the rig. Dude, like, for example, I was looking on Airbnb at Tampa, dude. That time of year, we can stay for a whole week for like under $600.
In May?
Yeah, in Bradenton.
Oh yeah, I guess because that's opposite of now is tourist season.
Right. I mean, and by no means is it anything nice, but there were like multiple options for a full little house, like down in Bradenton for like $600. And
dude, I take that.
That's our only expense, that and food and
foam
gas.
mattress and slide it into the back of the Subaru.
Game on.
Fucking bring a pillow and a comforter.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying, dude. We can go down there for like
that's what I'm used to.
$400 all in and fish all week from a boat and catch giant tarpon.
Jesus Christ.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Sign me the fuck
about.
up. Dude, plus we got, dude, when you texted me the other day, like, we got some good fishing ahead of us, or like, it's, you know, it's shit's about to turn. God damn, I was in a dark place. And it was just like, I went out on the Nolichucky a couple days ago.
Bro, this time of year has always been ass cheeks for me.
It sucks ass, dude.
Like, I remember 2 winters ago, like in November, December, had some of the juiciest conditions streamer fishing, which is like, what the fuck, there's no fish.
Yeah.
It's because they're all on reds getting fucking sniped by dudes with running bugs into their forehead and then hook setting on them. Like, oh, man.
Yeah, combined with the, I mean, I think there's been, you know, maybe one the last, we'll say, no, I don't think since the summer have I gone out and like fished the zones for muskie fishing where I'm like, I want to fucking catch a fish because I know where they are and I want clients to catch those. And so, yeah, so I'm not going to go out and just rip into them.
Up, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I did do that. No, I did go on a run once in familiar water where I know the addresses and like the whole stretch. I'm fucking going out and fishing and trying to catch fish. But it was a fucking dog shit, giant sun, windy as fuck. Dude, hour 3 or 4 in that, it's just like, God damn it, man. Like, how many fucking times have I done this? I already know what the deal is, but then there's also this, like, I'll do trips during those days and we'll move a fish or, like, get an eat. And it's because someone's fishing hard.
Right.
And we're in the 6th or 7th hour.
Oh, dude. How many times have we been, like, 3/4 through a float and you're just like, fuck.
Kill me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We still have so much run to do. Or, like, something. Or, like, you know, like, the morale can get low.
Yeah, dude. It can get real low.
But see, dude, that's what, like, I think makes it all fun. Like, I think that's why I feel like it cracks me up because it's like one of those things with me and saltwater fishing, specifically permit fishing, is I feel like I'm obsessed with it. I'm trying to do more of it and whatnot,
Yeah.
but it's like, it's the same thing because it's such a small sum game. You get you don't get rewarded a lot.
Right.
You fish a lot and don't catch a lot. And it's like, for example, my dad, who's animal with a spin rod,
Yeah.
like Rapalas, bait, whatever, just slays fish. You know, he's like, why do you like fish all day and catch anything? You know? You
Yeah.
fucking idiot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what's just, you know, I don't know. Like, it's what makes it way more like enticing is like, oh shit, I did something that was very hard to do. Like catching a giant brown on a streamer is just as hard because, you know, you might get more limited success through there, but it's still not what you're looking for of like, oh, I caught a 28 on a streamer. I caught a 27 or 26, which we have done a few times, but it's like, have we ever caught a 32-inch brown trout on a streamer? Like, that's a lifetime pursuit.
Yeah. And doing it with, I mean, there's just, I have so many perfect examples of, you know, I've had 2 guys this fall. I'm pretty bummed about how musky guiding has gone for me after just being on such a fucking tear. Finding fish, catching fish, fucking video. It's just like, and you know, I go out on the river and see some fucking jerk off with some dudes, and it's just like, I never see them on the river.
Yeah.
And it's just like, how much am I going to beat myself up about being qualified but not, you know, seen, and then at the same time not do the SEO work, which is where I'm just getting beat on. And anyway, that's just like, I guess a preface that, like, I had a handful of trips this year, and first time muskie anglers, and each of them moved multiple fish, and it's so similar to the permit fishing because it's like you can do everything right all the time, and it doesn't happen.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it's about to happen.
Right.
Let's say you, like, all of a sudden you have a fucking permit 35 feet away with its face fucking planted down, just going to town.
Well, yeah, see, it's like there's certain things I think that are equally or more challenging with each situation. Like, what's tough about, like, when the big brown trout does eat your fly or when the big muskie eats your fly is it happens so fast.
Yeah.
Where, you know, you could be sleeping on the boat and your guide wakes you up and say, hey, there's permit 100 feet here.
Yeah.
And if you're just a savage and you don't get buck fever at all, you can just stand up there, lay the fly out there and do everything right and boom. Right? Where, like, they're, you know, but you have to be looking all the time. You have to be engaged. I'm not saying you don't. But there's, you know what I mean? Like, I do think it's a different challenge of, like, that happening so fast of, like,
all of a sudden it's here.
There was your fish. There was your 28 that you were looking for the last 3 years. It's like, dude, like, think of, like, not that Kevin Travis was that giant of a fish, but, like,
God,
you think of how that
dude.
situation unfolded. That total thing was the course of 4 seconds. But, like, here's a nasty red male that, like, boom, done and over. You know.
Not boom, done and over. He fucking
smoked it.
Dude, he
comes
ate,
unpinned.
He ate your fly so hard that I saw a swirl on the surface. And because you were fishing the way that we fish typically, which is to point your rod and animate the fly with your line, your next strip was just a fucking fucking E just singing out from that fly line, just fucking tight to him, dude. Ah! And dude, I just just full body turn, gave us the full fucking profile.
Right.
And then the fucking line just went slack.
It makes me think of, like, how many casts do you, like if you were to take like a massive data set over like 30 years of fishing, and you're fishing a lot, and how many of those fish do you actually get to eat your fly? And not that that was like the biggest fish in the river or anything like that. It was a good fish. I don't know that it was
Right.
megalodon. It definitely wasn't. It was a nice fish though.
What? How many times is your cast getting to a?
Yeah, like how many times do you just get that interaction, whether it results in a fish in the net or whatever? Like, you know, like what is that?
Are you talking about number of casts or number?
Yeah, or just time on the water, whatever. Because you think about all the people who go, I've been fly fishing for 30 years. Yeah, twice a year.
Yeah, dude.
You fish 60 days.
I'm now
not 30 years.
I mean, even when people ask me about guiding or fishing, it's like, or tying, it's like, do you want to talk about? You can't even do days or months. Years is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, because it's like, the question is how many hours.
Right.
The question is how many wraps around a hook. The question is how many hours on the water, and even for folks that
you have to immerse yourself in whatever you want to become good at.
Right. I mean, you get better. Yeah, there's that Malcolm Gladwell, like 10,000 hours.
Right.
You get good at, for example, guiding in a way that most people guide, which is, I would say, more client focused and less fishing focused. Put it that way.
Yeah. Hospitality.
Sure, you pick up certain skills that I don't have, because that I've picked up now along the way. But I mean, really simple. I actually had I just remember this. I think 2 days ago, I had a legitimate nightmare. Like, when you go to school and you're naked. I had a legitimate nightmare that I was out with a couple that I knew, they weren't anyone in particular, muskie fishing, and I didn't have water.
There was no water.
I just remembered I was drinking a bottle of water, and I realized that I had forgotten the rest of the water in my car, and was just like had this like horrible anxiety, like, well, I hope they brought their own. Should I bring it up? But like those little things, you fucking dude, you ask some of these guys, it's not even a question, because they always have water and food, and I'm more like, I want to be out the night before, because I know that I have a trip the next 3 days, and I want to, the caddis hatch hasn't fucking kicked off yet, but it's kind of starting to, and should we be in this section at nightfall, or should we be in this section? And at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter, because something changes the next day, or the anglers aren't what I expected, or whatever. But
yeah, I mean, I think too, a lot of that is like just wanting to do the right thing. I know that sounds shitty, or not shitty, but it sounds like oversimplified. But it's like, because you care a lot about the result of them catching a fish in the right type of fish, and having the entrance to the experience in the right way, versus like, because it's harder to do it that way, man. Like, you think about like taking somebody who's never fly fished or is new to fly fishing, and you could you could slap an egg on there and call it good, and let them rack a few dinks, and that's see ya.
So I've had this with, that's where I got on that tangent. I've had this with brown trout, where these guys have caught fish before. They've caught a lot of fish, and they want to catch a fish on a streamer. And like this notion that fishing with a streamer, or fishing saltwater, with a fly instead of a spin rod. With the streamer in particular, it's like, oh, we're going for big browns. And it's like, well, not really. And this is what we were talking about a week or two ago. It's like you're going for an eat.
100%.
So I've seen people get, a brown trout that they've caught, maybe not dozens of, because they're going out, mostly catching little rainbows, mostly stocked. But they have, a 10 to 12 inch brown
eat a streamer for the first time, and we fucking pull over and take a picture of it. Like, they're so fucking gassed up. That's their first brown trout on a streamer. And it came out and tried to fucking take the rod out of their hands.
Right.
And I've also seen, just to sort of close my thought loop on this, I've also seen, you know, this 15-year-old who, he came out with me. Target was to catch a big brown. He could kind of fish fly. He was a fucking weapon with a spin rod, saltwater, obviously. And I said, it's going to be really difficult to do this in a half day of fishing. It was meh conditions, low water, big brown on a fucking fly with shaky confidence in that skill set. This is going to be difficult, next to impossible to do over the course of 4 hours. So I had him casting a spin rod, and after his like second or third shot, I was like, yeah, we're fucking in the money. He fucking, in ripping water, like what we were talking about, doing all those calculations, fucking, this is now like second or third hour, so he understands what we're supposed to be doing. Like, he and I are, you know, I'm rowing him with a specific thing in mind, and he's fucking hitting his shots. And 23-inch fish fucking eats under a bush. Like, on the second or third retrieve, it's from me to there. Like, we're in close quarters, and it just twitch, fucking eats right there. Boom. I'm fucking back rowing. I net it, hand him the net. He's keeping tension. We're going down a rapid. His mom's in the back fucking screaming. And it was really exciting and awesome for him. And then he said, I want to do that on a fly.
Yeah.
And you take that exact same situation with someone who's been trying to do this on a fly, and that goes down, we're fucking rowing out. Right. Like, their year is over. And it's so like it does. I mean, it feels stupid to say, but it's like, oh well, why do you spend all day doing that and not catch anything? It's like, god damn, dude, it feels so fucking good when it does happen, though.
Right. And like you said, you're fishing. You're catering. I mean, you're giving away all the other activity you could have in a day because you're fishing for a specific type of eat, which what you said I think is so accurate. Is that you said you're fishing for a specific eat because you could take a little, you know, bugger changer that's 2 inches long. Like, I'll do that with Sarah sometimes.
Swing it through some riffles and shit.
Yeah, and she just throws it in fucking little dinkers, just wreck that thing all day.
Yeah.
Because it's this big and it's a streamer.
Yeah.
But it's like, you don't see it. You know, the one I always give her is like a little olive John with like little shitty India hen sackle.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's little bugger changer. I think I know that one. Yeah.
Yeah. It's but dude, she'll just like throttle a couple little dinks on it. It is not the same experience whatsoever. No. Is tap, 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 pause.
Shark, shark, left, right.
Yeah. Oh, he's he swam past it, circled around it, looked at it, I stripped it, he
tap,
did
tap,
it,
tap, 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 tap.
Yeah.
Shorter, faster,
for 30 feet, and then he didn't eat. That was sick. That was a giant fish, and he didn't eat, You
got to take it for a win. Yeah.
The stripped off the bank under the bush, boom, oh my God, But it's like, to have like that eat happen on a fish that is, let's say, 26 or better is like, that's a pursuit. That isn't like, and there's always that one other, like, the dude who like, whatever, just rolls out and hammers the stud and is like, whatever,
Right.
But like, for most people, that is not like, and two, the issue is like, I saw Houston post the other day, he's talking about camera angles and stuff, and I think about like, even a lot of the fish I've held are like, it's a 24, but it looks like a 27 in the picture, what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
dude, you can make a 19 look 24 easy.
Yeah, and it's like, so many people out there, I think, look at Instagram and go like, oh man, these dudes are fucking hitting these giant fish all the time. It's like, yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah, have you seen, if you just look up like smallmouth bass, small jaw syndicate, whatever.
Yeah, like,
dude, they look like the size of the guy's torso.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, you're using a fucking fisheye lens.
Yeah, wide angle lens. The fish is 3 feet in front of your body, which disproportionately, like, you know what I mean? It's same with, have you seen the guys do it with elk?
Their fingertips are this big.
Yeah, they do that with elk and deer as well. They'll sit way far back and they'll put one arm on the antler. So the elk will be where the table is, and their body's actually back here. So now your body
But
looks
their whole body is
disproportionately small versus their hand in the antler of the elk because it's right next in that like you just said.
Yeah.
And,
Now
all of a sudden,
it's probably exaggerated even more with that big of an animal.
Yeah, I mean, and
it's like, oh, that person's so small, that means that elk must be huge.
Right. Nonetheless, the elk is huge either way. But it's like it's same with fish. Like
my
I hold a fish.
Will is 6'5".
So every fish he catches is gonna look like a turd. Yeah.
He's got these fucking catcher's mitts for hands, and so when he's holding it like an 18-inch brown trout, it looks like me holding a little fucking stocked rainbow because he's literally holding it like this, like a giant fucking fish.
Yeah. But it's like the problem is it dilutes the.
Because that's not what you're that's not what we're out. That isn't the. Fuck. I mean, even that picture, like that story with the kid, where it's just like, flip his fucking however many hundredths cast. Twitch. Whoa, I saw it first. Another little twitch right next to the boat. Net, rapid, mom screaming, him fucking doing everything at once, going under bushes. I got fucking goosebumps.
Yeah.
And we got the picture, and it looks cool, but like, that picture is not that.
Right.
That fucking shit that happens right there. That's why it's so fun.
Yeah, and I think like the whole, I think about social media in general, how good it's been. Like we probably aren't friends without social media.
True.
My buddy Steve, like he's one of my best fishing buddies. We're not friends without social media for sure. Like all these, so it has a lot of good, but I also think of like, you said, like the same kid also said, hey, I want to fish for 4 hours and catch a PB, giant brown.
Right.
Like, that I think happens a lot with social media because they look at, you know what I mean? I do the same shit. Like I look at an area and I see a bunch of big pictures. I'm like, oh, I can go do it.
Yeah.
And like we all are like that. But it's like in reality, that dude who's probably sticking a lot of big fish, one is spending a fucking ton of time on the water.
Yeah.
Two has been, learning that system for however long. It's like all these things go, you know what I mean? Like,
and if it's rivers, for example, like what are you looking at? Are you looking at daily updates?
Right. Like say someone's coming to the Watauga, right?
Sure.
And they like to streamer fish and they're looking at your page and they say, okay, I see these flies he's posting. I probably need to take some drunks and all this, and I'll go and I might hit one of these big fish.
Sure. You fucking look at me 2 weeks 2 weeks ago, dude.
You also might have like not see a fish all day and get sunburnt to shit and want to go jump off a bridge.
Yeah.
Or maybe the fishing is good and you don't know how to fish streamers. You don't know how to articulate the fly. You don't know where to cast. You don't know like all these little areas
exactly. Maybe it's a great day, but where did you fish?
Right. You might have been in the wrong section. You might have picked the wrong bank every time you went down, if that is even a thing. You might, you know what I mean? Like, there's all these different things.
Where and how did you fish? And like...
That, like, you don't... it's like, I remember the one time I asked you, I was like, hey, do you keep any type of log? You're like, no, I remember everything in my head. And I think about that because it's like, I think most of us do. If you're in, like, every time we row past somewhere, even if we've moved a unit.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah.
And that's insane because it's a lot of data points to think about, but it's like think of that storage space in your brain that you're not even conscious.
Just thinking
like I was thinking about the one fish below that we moved out of a log pile below the waterfall in the lower Tog on the left side there that like I've never seen another fish or moved a fish there, but that one just popped in my head.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
We didn't catch it.
Dude,
but like we could row past that little, and I'd be like, I remember that.
Yes,
like,
I know exactly what you're talking about. I know that fucking log that you're talking about.
Why? You know?
It's like the, it's like looking at the computer and it's got whatever 256 gigs, and then I have the terabyte external hard drive, and so I can fucking stack my computer and have it not be able to take in anything more, but there's always room in the external hard drive. That's literally like...
Yeah.
I can do that mileage calculation for how long was this float, and it just not happening. But then, move a fish off that one rock, and it's
So
there
true.
forever.
Yeah, like I have written down somewhere how long the water takes to get everywhere.
Yeah.
And like that's something that like I've tried to retain, but it's just not something, like I have a general idea of like, hey, the water takes this many hours to get here, and there. But like I'm always like looking back at my thing to be like, okay, I know for a fact that it's gonna get here at this time. This is what time I should show up to the ramp. But it's your same exact, like, how long if I push it will this float take? Well, but the problem with that is such a are we fishing fast? Is the water high? Is the water low?
That's why I want to ask when someone asks me.
Do you not suck?
When
Like,
someone asks me how long is this float, I'm like,
do you like to fish? Do you not fish? Like, am I
how long? How much do we have left in this float?
a lot?
That's another one where I go, what time is it?
Yeah.
Is it 5? It gets dark at 8.
Like,
Yeah, so we have about 3 hours left.
the guide trips I've run, almost every time that has come up, and it's been like, so are we getting close to takeout? Not really. Are you ready to go? Because if so, you need to let me know so I can start fucking rowing.
Yeah, let me change everything about what I'm thinking because I'm only focused on catching fish.
Yeah, it's so hard because that's how we talk to about like how do you find the right audience and the right people who are just as sick about it, and you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff with, and you're like expecting, you know, the expectation is for them to get in the boat and like literally fish till you're so, you know, till we're done. Like not be like, oh, I'm ready to, you know, let's call it a day.
Here's the weird thing is that like it's not as though I think it's crazy because you were saying we do it too, right? You look at an area or a social media account and it's like, oh, well, you know, if I fish with this guy or if I fish there, well, then I'd be able to fucking stick a unit. So I don't want to hate on people for coming in with the expectations of catching a big fish, but at the same time, it's like, dude, time and time again, the ones who come in with this, you know, they're talking as they're fishing, they want to learn, they're fun to hang out with. This gets to some of the spooky woo
The universe stuff.
Yeah, but like,
100%.
dude, those are the people that not only do they become regular, they might not catch a good fish that day. And fucking, it breaks my heart because some of them, they'll be here 2-3 times. And it's like when they finally get to the place where they're consistently laying it out and they're not fucking around with they're not losing their line in their hands and searching for it. And then, you know, they're able to do a quick back cast and not shoot, and, you know, they're not hanging up. Like, they're doing everything right consistently. And then they practice on their own, and they've watched my videos. And then they come here, and it is a fucking horseshit day of fishing.
Right.
And it's like, dude, we go out and fish and maybe move a couple, or, you know, they stick like 1 or 2. It's like, dude, it's just one of the most unfortunate parts about it because it's not just consistency within the day, which is very important. It's also like this consistency over the course of, you know, a season or multiple years where that's what gets it done.
Yeah, see, and I think that's spot on. I think, too, there's so, like, don't be the guy who, like, shows up and expects it and also hasn't done any of the pre-work that you just mentioned.
Right.
You know, you're very right. Like, you know, it's happened to me numerous times.
Dude,
you know, the weather's shit.
I'll coach casting. Right. If you want to get better at casting, but you can't go do this and be a fucking bad caster.
And if you are the dude who really wants to stick around and you want to get the most out of your money, even if the conditions suck, then know how to cast when you get here.
Yeah.
Be gross. Practice in the yard. Be gross. Like, stack all the cart. Like, if you're serious about whatever it is, whatever the pursuit is, the fish, the trophy elk, the trophy mule deer,
cooking,
the giant permit on the flat,
cooking a good fucking steak.
Well, then, like, get good at it. Don't and then go like, or say, hey, I know nothing, and I'm going to pay this guy to teach me over the course of 6 trips, you know, this year and next year. Or like, I think there's a lot of, oh, I'm just going to show up and he'll put me on the fish, and this is, you know, like, you still have to deliver it, and there's things you can do to stack the odds in your favor
within the day.
Yeah, and it's also like you said, like, you can come and get a terrible weather day, and it's like it you know, it's, you know, it is what it is. Like, but what's crazy is you have those moments in the bad weather days for the people who are lethal, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, we weren't expecting it. Like my buddy Rob, who stuck that nice one down on the lower in the heavy water.
Yeah, at the top of that.
At
Yeah.
the end of the
Oh,
float.
no, at the end of it.
Above Persinger.
But at the
Yeah.
V, yeah.
Day was over, dude.
Yeah.
But he kept casting. He's a
Yeah.
phenomenal caster.
Low water.
Yeah, he lives in Florida.
Uh-huh.
Bright sun all day. Had a bunch of stupid little fish.
I still remember that I was out on the water that day. It was a fucking horrible day.
Yeah, brutal. Like, it had two. And the other guy, Brian, in the back of the boat, was his buddy, was also a weapon. Both saltwater guys.
Yeah.
From Florida. Both casted extremely well all day. He sticks a, whatever that was, right at 24 at the end of a legit 24 at the end of the day after suckage all day, because though he can cast.
Yes.
He didn't quit. He kept checking boxes, and then one shows up in the weirdest place.
Yeah.
So it's like,
which makes the, like, on those bad days, my job in muskie fishing is like, it's to the nth level, but to say, oh, tighten this up, or I want to see like this in your retrieve, and it's like, how many fucking times can I say the same thing? And I watch the person in front, I watch their body language and their shoulders get, and their posture, and they're on their heels, they're not on their toes as much, and I can feel it in their casting, just the way they talk to me. Everything becomes less excited, and it's like, okay, that's fine if you want to be there, but recognize what that does. They aren't going to get that fish that Rob got.
Right.
They just aren't going to. And
if they do, they're not ready for it. If it happens, then they.
Right.
And I fished this older gentleman in July. He's a really nice guy. But like after that situation of saying, hey, try this, and it not sticking, it's like, okay, well, where do you go from there?
Yes.
And where do you go from there? I think depends on where do they want to go from there? Like, do you not want to, do you not give a shit?
Right.
You must not, because if you did, you'd be changing and asking, hey, did I fix that? No, you're still doing it. Okay, well, help me. I thought I fixed it, but I didn't.
Right.
Or you're like, you just don't care. You're not there. You know what I mean? And at that point is when I'm kind of like, well, let's just have fun. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's just shoot the shit.
Exactly.
And if you don't catch a fish, that's okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Dude.
Versus like the dude who's like, dude, what am I still doing that? Like, did I fix it? Like, let's, then that's like the dude I think you can like start to ride a little bit. Like, hey man, you want this bad? You tell me you want it bad. Like,
dude, I had
you're not stripping that.
I had a guy
right,
that's never. When I said strip line off the reel, he said, I don't know what any of that means. Never seen a fly rod, never done anything.
Right.
And he wanted to learn how to streamer fish. And this was in fucking February. And we did the upper for 4 hours, and I knew him from college. We did the upper for 4 hours, and it's just like, that's my experience as a guide and as a teacher. It's like, that's how he wouldn't stop wanting to know more.
Right.
And every single cast, he wanted reports.
Right.
And we drove down and did the lower, which in February, at that point, dude, he was casting. And he could strip back. And I was telling him before we put in, I was like, dude, I don't know if I can do that for another 4 hours. Like, that's as hard as I can be on someone.
Yeah.
And he goes, dude, it's working, blah, blah, blah. He was like, really? He was still excited. I was like,
don't stop.
I was like, dude, I know that you're doing well. I'm just saying
You're quitting on me.
It takes so much for me to continue to be that vocal and invested, and every little thing, because there is so much. And so, dude, we just kept doing it. There was one point where I was like, dude, please keep your fly in the water for like a couple seconds, just please, because the odds are here now. He didn't care. Yeah. He wanted to. The next cast, he wanted to be better than the last one. Yeah. Picking it up, putting it back down. Like, God damn it, man. All right, we're at an hour 40. You want to call it?
Yeah, that works.
All right.
I think this format will be good, though.
I think so too. Dude, that guy, Andrew. We're fucking going out in the lake, and the water had cut, and so I'm pushing. It was cold as fuck, and dark, and he's still fucking
Hammered.
Now we're to the place where he's working on hauling. And so we're out in that open space with flat water, and he's still like,
He's
so
just
do I
arrested.
pull the line when I'm coming back, or like, dude?
See, that's the sicko though. That is like, you can start to.
Well, that's the guy that